Part 2. So I blew my top together, Applejack explained to Twilight, looking and sounding absolutely guilt-ridden. I was just so frustrated I lost it. I know Trixie wouldn't do something like this on purpose. I just lost my cool. Rainbow scoffed. Don't be so sure, she muttered, knowing no one else still distrusted Trixie like she did. That dream, it seemed off, but it was what she was afraid of, and it brought back the fear to the surface. Just like the dream the night before had reopened her old wounds from being bullied at flight school. It's alright, Applejack. I know you would never hurt Trixie on purpose. Twilight consulted with a hoof on her friend's shoulder, but still looked worried. Trixie had the personality and emotional state of herself as a filly. Trixie couldn't imagine what the poor mare was going through right now. We don't know what the hell happened, Slayus, said Apple Bloom, looking just as guilty as her sister. We're just playing ball and then lice happened, she said, she nor her friends remembering anything after Checker's spell was put on until it was broken. The apples had been collected, and only a few were bruised, but still hurt knowing not only had their game hurt her own family, but Trixie as well. It's alright, Apple Bloom. We still got enough apples for the fire, said Applejack. Though, with the loss of some of the apples, their odds of winning still decreased. She didn't want any point to be worried by it. But the poor Trixie. Poor Mayor's heart must be broken with what I said. Sakura, having returned with Twilight and Fluttershy to make up the antidote, was nearby, her saddlebag still full of necessary herbs. Any huts can reach for now. Now Trixie must be found, she said, so unconcerned. Even as she never met Trixie, she was still worried. After all, she was Twilight's friend. That was good enough for the zebra. You cannot make up for your outburst if we do not find her first. Sakura's right, Twilight said. Girls, let's split up and find Trixie, she called out, then looked to Rainbow. All of us! Rainbow growled. Fine! She yelled, angry and bitter. She took off and flew away to search, though not too hard. Checker kept moving to pieces on her chessboard. Almost done, she said, looking over as the Diamond Dogs returned. You found her? She asked. A tad surprised they could still smell Trixie's scent through their own appalling stench. The trio gave a nod, though they now watched her more closely, almost fearfully. While they did not want her gems, and intended to follow her orders to receive them, they now knew just how dangerous their boss was. How even someone's dreams were not safe from her. To a pony, this was a disturbing thought. But at least the unicorn understood how their magic worked, and understood all Checker did was misuse her own natural power in a wrong and highly illegal fashion. A disturbing thought, but they at least knew what she did. But to the more simple-minded Diamond Dogs, who knew very little of how it actually worked, they had little attention seeing what else she had in her arsenal, especially seeing it used on them. Checker didn't seem to mind. In fact, she seemed to enjoy it. Their control over her fear gave her power over them, was something she seemed to relish. Good. Now, let's make sure my little pawn does too, the insidious mare said, looking at the Rainbow Dash piece. Hate her. I really do. Rainbow Dash grumbled as she headed through the woods, it being too thick to look properly from the air. She half wanted to just fly home and get some much-needed sleep, give up on Trixie altogether. But of course, Twilight would just chew her chow as she did that. Plus, if she found Trixie first, she could give her a serious piece of her mind, which she fully intended to do. Stupid Trixie! Who does she think she's got fooled? She grumbled as she walked. She probably spilled all those apples on purpose, just to mess up Applejack and her family. Why am I the only one who sees her for the bully she is? She exclaimed, letting out her frustration by kicking the air. Suddenly, she heard a rustling sound in the woods. Huh? She asked, approaching, barely missing Spot shaking a tree as the Diamond Dog fled off quietly as he could. She walked that way until she began to hear something else. Is someone there? She muttered, slowly walking forwards and poking her head through some branches, seeing Trixie in the clearing, her back to her. Rainbow growled at the sight of her. They realized something. Trixie didn't know she was there. Checker watched from nearby, a cruel grin on her face. Come on, we know you want to do it. Yell at the little brat so much she runs far, far away from here, she whispered, looking to her chessboard. And from any possibility of ever getting back on her hooves. Rainbow got a rather disturbing smirk. Nasty thought flowing through her head as she slowly stuck up behind Trixie, her host making little to no noise. A little thing she learned from hanging out with Fluttershy. Checker got a cruel smirk as she moved Rainbow Dash into position. Checkmate. Can I just say this? I do love the chessboard motif when it comes to villains planning and using their skills to try to maneuver, treating people as pawns and stuff. It's a good metaphor. It really is. My only problem with the metaphor and the use of it is that it seems to forget something. Not everyone is black and white. Not everyone is a pawn. And not everyone can be defined by titles or classes. This is one of Checker's biggest downfalls in the story, and one of her biggest faults. She's defining everybody into a rigid piece. This is why I had Titan in Fall Starfleet prefer to use Go. Because Go is way more chaotic. Oh, sir, it still has rules, but you only see two people on there. Your opponent and yourself. Your allies and those who are against you. And easily, at one point, you can turn that side against you. Or for you. Just watch. Then, as she got closer, Rainbow Dash heard the full sniffling? No. Sobbing. Refolding her wings, Dash stood perfectly still, listening closely. I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. Please don't hit me. It was an accident. Please. The little filly sobbed. The hay? Rainbow Dash studied her target. Trixie was hunched over, and even from behind, Rainbow Dash could tell her eyes were cleansed. Trixie had curled inwards into a little ball, and was pretty much crying her eyes out. She got under a sob as her mantra continued. I didn't mean to. I didn't want to hurt anyone. I was just playing and... Rainbow Dash's eyes went wide in surprise. There was no one around. At least it was clear Trixie didn't think there was. She was all alone. She was crying her eyes out over what she had done on accident. And Rainbow had just been about to give her hay for something that happened months ago. And something she was afraid might happen in the future. Man, what was I doing? She whispered, as she realized something shook her to the core. Images of a little rainbow-haired Pegasus curled up on the ground, crying her eyes out, were hosed over her ears in flight school, as she was marked by the entire class in her mind, followed by the image of a little blue unicorn, doing the exact same thing as the Pegasus yelled her head off at her, for something everyone except her tormentor was smart enough to forgive and move on. Rainbow Dash shook that image away, and as her expression changed to one of concern, she sat down next to the filly. Trixie, you okay? She asked, gently concerned tone. Trixie jumped at the sound of Rainbow's voice, eyes wide in fear before she recognized Rainbow Dash. Oh, it's you, she said, looking up at Rainbow Dash shamefully, ears pinned. I'm so sorry about the apples. It was an accident. The little filly screamed in panic, then looked down with that I'm about to be punished look. I just don't want you all to hate me. Not again, she said, lowering her head and looking like she was about to cry again. Rainbow looked down at the filly, at a loss for what she was about to say. She wasn't used to these kind of situations. It was Fluttershy Pinkie Pie's thing. What was he supposed to do? You're really sorry? She asked, after a few seconds looking down at the filly. Trixie nodded, looking up at her, tears streaming down her face. Well, I guess it didn't cause too much trouble. And it was an accident, said Rainbow Dash, rubbing the back of her head with a hoof. Not believing she was saying it after all this. But she couldn't believe how close she came to something she knew she would have regretted. She was just glad she snapped out of it before it was too late. I forgive you, I guess. Trixie looked shocked. You do? Rainbow Dash gave her a small smile, put her wing on her back to cover her. Yeah, now come on, let's get you cleaned up. Don't like seeing fools cry. Too many bad memories from flight school, she said, leading the way. And Checker, this is why you lose. Interesting enough, this is also a clue for a lot of bad fake writers. You only look at the outside of understanding a person or a pony. You never look deeper. Because deep down, you need everybody to be just as bad as you are. Checker looked on the scene in utter shock for a few seconds, before she smacked Rainbow Dash chest piece with her hoof, sent it flying to a tree where it shattered to magic dust. The only sign of her anger being a small ground. Pony's plan fail! Spot whispered to his packmates. Checker suddenly spun around, giving the diamond dog a glare that made his heart skip a beat from terror. My plan didn't fail. My plans never fail. She should have hated Trixie more and called me boss or Miss Monarch, not Pony! The mare snarled before regaining her composure again, recollecting her chessboard with her normal, cold, detached look on her face. The only inclination she had been angry at all was her having her mane slightly messed up. Let's go. It's time for Plan B. The group reassembled back at the farm. Rainbow still not back. I couldn't find Trixie anywhere, Fluttershy said, worry still in her tone and voice. Rarity sighed sadly. I couldn't either, she said, looking around. Applejack looked the most upset of them all. She understood why and put a hoof on her back. Sakura shook her head. I looked high and low, but Trixie was nowhere did I go. Twilight paced. She has to be somewhere. She's in the body of the filly. Where could she have gone? She asked, looking around warily for her. Hey, girls! Called Rainbow Dash's voice. Everyone's attention as the rainbow main Pegasus touched down. Looking for some pony? She asked, turning to reveal Trixie riding on her back. Trixie! Every pony exclaimed as they ran over, exclaiming their relieved comments of finding her safe and sound. Applejack looked at Trixie, guilt clear on her face. Look, I just plain feel awful for what I said. It wasn't right, she said, taking off her hat, putting it over her chest as she looked down in remorse. I'm sorry. Can you forgive me? Trixie was surprised by this, but slowly nodded. Of course. I'm really sorry I messed up like that. It was my fault. Applejack nodded, giving a small smile. I've already forgiven you, Sugar Cube. Accidents happen all the time, she said, putting a hoof on the filly's shoulder. Twilight looked in shock at Rainbow Dash, who didn't seem to mind Trixie's presence anymore. Rainbow, what happened? Rainbow looked at Twilight, trying to look nonchalant. Oh, nothing much. I just found her in the woods over there. Twilight didn't bite a second. Should I get Spike? Later, okay? Asked Rainbow in a low voice, but gave a smile. Twilight smiled back, glad Rainbow had a change of heart. She gave a nod, then looked at Trixie. Trixie, this is my friend Sakura. She's got the antidote to the poison joke ready to go. She introduced, so she was a little certain how Trixie would react to the zebra. Trixie looked up to the zebra. A bowing baby. Sakura gave a small gasp, then smiled warmly. A bowing baby. She replied politely. The group blinked as he looked at the scene. Okay, just what happened? Asked Rainbow, giving the two a confused look. Twixie's magic instructor was the zebra. He thought her rosary tricks were simple, horrible dust. He also taught Twixie that phrase, which means, hello, madam, in their language. Trixie explained, looking to Sakura. Sakura nodded. And it does my heart good to hear a greeting from my homeland dear. she replied rather happily. Now who has been made young again? Are you ready for your healing to begin? Trixie was about to answer. Della took her stairs.
Could Trixie stay feeling just for a little bit longer, please?
Twilight wants to Trixie and the Key Mark Sayers playing ball once again. Sakura waiting nearby until Trixie was ready to return to her raids. After the last accident, it was decided a watch would be helpful. Strangely, all the problems they faced all day seemed to have been resolved, though she had been absent for most of them. Twilight smiled, glad to see Trixie having fun for a change. She was so happy. Twilight turned and got back to work as the four continued their game.
Now, hold still. This will only take a moment, Applejack.
Rarity, what's what you're all doing with my mind?
This is the ball.
A few seconds later, Rarity turned to Applejack in front of a full-length mirror. Her mane had simply been cut a little bit around the ends, and a few split ends clipped here and there. Applejack was rather surprised at how different she looked with her mane out of its normal ponytail, allowed to hang straight down. She didn't really like it all that much. It didn't look like her. Oh, Applejack, you know I love you with your ponytail or your mane down. Oh no, I really don't look like mine. Fluttershy, standing nearby, gave a small nod.
It's really pretty, but I think of whatever Applejack thinks.
Rarity nodded as she looked at her friend's look.
I see what you mean,
she said, giving it a deep thought.
Let's try this, shall we?
She asked, and went to work again. Applejack's hair was soon up in a bun behind her head, though perfectly arranged.
Better.
Applejack gave herself a look in the mirror. Well, I guess I could wear this to the fair. Still ain't money, but I like that buy it. Rarity nodded.
All right, I'll probably head over to the spa.
Applejack blinked, giving Rarity a confused look. Say what now?
To the spa. Fluttershy and I go every week, which is why she's here now. So I thought taking you along would be a good idea, mainly for your hooves and fur. Make sure you look presentable and count a lot.
Applejack narrowed her eyes. What does that mean? You saying there's something wrong with how I look? Rarity sighed. I was about to explain when the door flew open, and Pinkie Pie vibrated in. Her body was vibrating like crazy to the point she was bouncing around.
Pinkie Pie? What the hell is going on? Rarity! My Pinkie says it's going crazy again!
Pinkie announced, not stopping her vibrating at all, her voice oscillating with it. Oh no, not another doozy, exclaimed Applejack, looking surprised.
Yeah, that's it, and whatever it is, it's happening here!
Pinkie replied, vibrating around the three mares.
Okay, Trixie has got to know. How are you doing all that without the vocal effects?
Years of practice, Trixie. Years of practice.
And your throat is okay with this?
I guess. We don't exactly have a biological camera in here to make sure that how my vocal cords feel. Later, inside Lesson Breaker's vocal cords, we hate him.
Another?
Rarity asked, looking surprised, then gasped.
Has this happened before? What does it mean? What's going to happen to my beautiful petite Applejack?
The white unicorn pleaded. It was on Applejack's shoulder as he went to her typical Rarity hysterics. Well, last time we ran into a Hydra.
A Hydra? A Hydra's going to attack my shop? Well, no, what is it? A pair of spikes? A cockatrice? A dragon? Who is this Spike? A dragon!
Screamed Fluttershy in terror before she slipped to a nearby table and cowered, peeking out carefully. Now calm down, Rarity, stated Applejack, putting her hose on Rarity's shoulder and making her look in the eye. Now listen, last time the Hydra wasn't a doozy. It was after that when Twilight admitted she'd been wrong about Pinkie Pie's pinky sense. The Reserve Pony explained. Now, we still don't understand what it means, but it ain't anything like you think it is. It was, she'd been doing it when Discord and Nightmare Moon showed up, wouldn't she?
Well, I suppose. But with nothing to worry about, then why is Fluttershy cowering?
Rarity asked, pointing to Fluttershy, who was still hiding under the table, only her eyes visible as she peeked out fearfully. 'Cause he all said dragons, at least terrified of them. Applejack replied, "Now, calm down and let's just think about this," she said, turning back to the vibrating Pinkie Pie. "You all right, Pinkie?" Pinkie nodded, despite her vibrating.
Yeah, this makes my voice so silly. This is so fun.
At that moment, Trixie, back to her normal self, let herself in and blinked at the sight before her. Applejack with her hair done up like she was going to some fancy party, and a mildly hysteric Rarity is serving a vibrating Pinkie Pie while Fluttershy carried under the table. Trixie responded by giving a raised eyebrow.
Is Trixie interrupting anything?
The group looked at her and blinked, realizing how strange it must have looked. "No, nothing at all. Pinkie's sense is just going off, and we're trying to figure out what's going on." Trixie's opened once more and rose an eyebrow.
Pinkie sense?
"It's kind of complicated, but Pinkie gets these weird feelings to predict things. Like if her tail twitches, something is about to fall." Applejack explained, normally at some point in his head. Trixie blinked.
But that makes no sense.
"Yeah, but Twilight believes it. After trying for a day to figure out how it worked, and afterwards not knowing any more about it than she started."
"But we all believe it. And right now, Pinkie is predicting a doozy of something bad about to happen right here!"
Exclaimed a mildly hysteric Rarity.
Be something bad. Not without my beautiful dresses already for shipping. That'd be the worst possible thing!
She exclaimed, her typical overly dramatic posing. Trixie gave a sigh, deciding it must be a headache to accept Pinkie's weariness and move on.
Regardless, Trixie's simply here to check and make sure everything is alright after her unfortunate mishap with the sewing machine.
Rarity looked back, giving a sympathetic look.
"Everything is fine, Trixie. No need to worry,"
she said, giving a small smile.
"This is one under the beds for now, darling."
Trixie gave a small smile.
"Alright, Trixie was merely checking in,"
she said, but something felt strange. Why? She actually felt strange since she returned to her adult self, but wasn't sure why. Did it hit her? Rainbow Dash's sudden change of heart. At the time, as the emotionally delicate feeling, she'd been more relieved. Now she was confused, more than before. Come to think of it, Rainbow Dash had been in perplexity since they met. And the only one who acted as Trixie thought they would. Something was off.
Why was Rainbow so angry with Trixie? Trixie knew she'd hurt you all, but that's something she's seen. But why did Rainbow take it so hard? Normally, Trixie wouldn't think much of it. But her being the only one of you that feels that way, there must be a reason for it. It might be, well, Rainbow was bullied a lot at flight school. So was I. She always stood up for me,
explained Fluttershy, crawling out fully from her hiding spot. Memories of Fluttershy's can hardly fly chance flashing in her mind briefly, causing her to whimper slightly before she took it off.
So I guess he just opened some old wounds.
Trixie lowered her head, ears spinning around as the full weight of that hit her. Realization of how painful her misdeed must have been to Rainbow Dash.
That would explain it. Trixie should have known better. Trixie was bullied as a filly, and she knows what it's like. And she became one, she supposes,
she said to herself. They gave it a good deal of that, and as they felt good to apologize earlier to Applejack, it took a huge weight off the unicorn. She did know exactly how Rainbow Dash must feel, having been bullied herself. Trixie finally sighed at realizing what she had to do to make this right.
All Trixie can do is set things right. Trixie must go and make up with Rainbow Dash,
she announced in a slightly over-the-top handsome fashion.
It's the only thing to be done!
This was greeted by a jump that Trixie, adult Trixie, had decided, completely of her own accord, to actually swallow her pie to apologize. The piggy launched into the air, doing a series of convulsions before landing with a blink and the vibrating ceased. Sissy giggled.
Oh, so that was the dizzy!
Applejack faced off, while the frustrated Rarity did an over-dramatic feint onto a couch. She pulled over dramatically. Trixie blinked.
Oh, she does faint just like Trixie does. It's really that surprising.
Applejack rubbed her head. Kinda. Feel guilty? No surprise. But swallowed your own pride and decided to apologize? Well, I ain't seen you do that before. Not as a grown-up self, anyway. No offense.
None taken. Trixie understands.
She replied, realizing that she rarely, if ever, apologized for anything as an adult. The only time she had done so yet was to her grandmother. She the only one aware of that. Of course it was surprising. Now she thought about it, even surprised Trixie decided it. Fluttershy nodded, then gasped as something popped in her head.
Oh, don't tell Rainbow I told you. She'll be so angry if she finds out,
she said, realizing she let a secret of Rainbow slip. Trixie nodded.
Trixie understands. Let Trixie guess. Piggy Pie swear,
she asked, getting a nod. Trixie sighed.
All right. Cross Trixie's heart. Out the fly. Stick a cupcake in her. Ah!
Rainbow Dash laid her back in her house, finally able to concentrate long enough to read her book after having gotten herself a good nap earlier today, when there was a knock on the door. Or as close to a knock as one could make with a cloud door. Rainbow growled to put her block down.
Man, this level's getting to the good part,
she muttered, walking the door and opening it, expecting Trixie or some other Ponyville Pegasi. She was more than a little surprised by who was actually there.
Trixie? How did you get up here?
She asked, wide-eyed at sight of the unicorn, standing at her cloud step, about 100 or so feet in the air.
Twilight put a cloud walking spell on Trixie at her request. Since she did trust Trixie with the wing spell after some incident involving Rarity, then Piggy gave Trixie a ride up here as a crazy contraption of hers.
Trixie explained, looking a little surprised about that herself.
This,
called Pinkie Pie. On a pedal-powered helicopter, balloon bicycle machine of some sort, she waved from outside. Rainbow Dash just waved back, used to this by now.
Me, Trixie, come in.
Rainbow blinked and shook it off.
Sure, come in.
Once the door was closed, Trixie turned to Rainbow Dash and looked serious.
Trixie is not good at this kind of thing. Nor is she an emotionally delicate filly that does this constantly at the moment. Not that she didn't mean what she said before, so forgive her if she doesn't do this right. Trixie knows she tied you up with your own rainbow, shocked you with lightning, and publicly humiliated you, and publicly humiliated two of your best friends, in the front of the entire town. Then bragged about it. Yes, there was much bragging involved. What Trixie is trying to say is, Trixie is sorry,
Trixie said, her voice genuine as she looked down with her ears pinned. Rainbow Dash's jaw nearly dropped to the floor. It'd be crazy enough to hear Philly Trixie apologize, but adult Trixie? That was completely left out of field.
You're sorry.
Trixie nodded and looked down in shame.
Trixie was wrong to do that, and she apologizes. And Trixie's going to move on with her life. Trixie should start with a clean slate. Anyway, Trixie wanted to apologize to you, because it seems you were hurt worse than the other were.
Rainbow looked nervous and rubbed her head.
What gave you that idea? Do you really think Trixie is that naive of Rainbow Dash?
Rainbow sighed.
All right, I may have been a little sensitive. It's just Billy Troubles.
Rainbow's eyes went wide.
Who told you that?
She asked almost evasively. Trixie looked over to the window with only her eyes, seeing Pinkie Pie glaring back at her, mouthing,
"Forever." Lucky guess.
Rainbow Dash rose her eyebrow.
Really? A pinky promise has evolved!
Rainbow Dash nodded understandingly, knowing Pinkie promises not to be trifled with.
Okay, I won't ask.
She then gave a sigh.
Yeah, I got bullied back at flight school. A lot. I was great at flying, not so much as landings. You're gonna laugh, aren't you?
Trixie shook her head, looking sympathetic.
No, Trixie understands. As talented and spectacular as she was, even as a filly, she still had magic fireworks explode in her face multiple times. After which, her elder sister mocked her until Trixie's eyebrows grew back. She mocked Trixie for a lot of things. Even though Trixie loves her, it didn't change how much her teasing hurt. Trixie really hurt you, didn't she?
Rainbow sighed, realizing there was no point in evading it now. Yeah, I guess he just opened old wounds. I really hoped that would stay closed. Trixie nodded, sitting down next to Rainbow Dash. Well, Trixie is sorry. She doesn't know what more she can say than that. She replied sincerely, then looked thoughtful. Rainbow Dash, you had a chance to get revenge on Trixie today, but you didn't take it. Why? Rainbow looked a little surprised, then looked down. You were just a little filly crying your eyes out. I might not be a sap for the emotional jug, but see you like that and me about to make it worse made me realize I would be no better than the bullies who picked on me if I kicked you while you were down like I was planning to. And I knew that if you were that upset from an accident, you couldn't be as bad as I thought. Trixie listened carefully and nodded. The idea of losing her new friends frightened Trixie a great deal. Even now it does a bit. Thank you, Rainbow Dash. Trixie's glad you had a change of heart. So, will you forgive Trixie for what she did to you? Rainbow looked at her. Can you forgive me for being a pain in the flank I've been to you? She asked. Trixie gave a nod. Then we're good. Trixie and Rainbow both nodded and smiled. Trixie's eyes then wandered to the book Rainbow had left. Daring do. My, Trixie wouldn't have pegged you to be a book lover, but you have good taste. Rainbow blinked. Huh, you read Daring Do? Trixie smiled. Doesn't everyone? They're one of the most popular series out there. And what kind of storyteller would Trixie be if she didn't keep up on the newest things? Alright, Trixie just started the first one this evening at Twilight's request. She couldn't put it down. Trixie especially loves the research the author puts into it. She stated, did you know that Azitotl is an actual mythological beast? Rainbow Dash blinked. I did not know that. The author got the design quite accurate. The tail is the defining trait of the creator. Oh, which book are you on? Okay, so I'm looking and I don't see an official character page for it, but I do see one on the Homebrew Wiki with an armor class of 15 and, wow, only 45 hit points. What a chump. Oh, no wonder. Challenge rank 2. Oh, come on. That means all it takes is a few level 1 adventurers to take him down. Jeez. No wonder Azitotl had to come up with that backstory about him actually protecting things. Huh. I knew I didn't believe it. And neither should you folks out there. Regardless of how you feel about the episode. Oh, here he is on, oh wait, this is still 5th edition here. Oh, this was confirmed for but he was in 3rd edition. He was in 30.5 edition. The 5th one. A dedicated reader, are we? Trixie's only on the first book. But she has read the entire Harry Potter series in one sitting. You'd probably enjoy them. Oi! No Lord of the Rings here! I am offended. Really, what are they about? Dear Princess Celestia, today I learned a pretty important lesson. If you let old grudges get the better of you, it can cause every pony more trouble than it's worth. Make you something you don't want to be. Ponies can change, and you can't see that, you might mess up making a really cool friend. It's better to learn from the past than live with it. Yours truly, Rainbow Dash. I was outside, finally relaxing after a hard day. And it had been a hard day, well, with everything breaking down and all that. But things finally cleared up. It looked like they had to subside for every pony in town. So he peeked to the living room. Granny Smith in a rocking chair, Big Macintosh relaxing. Apple Bloom was upstairs doing homework. It was pretty quiet, until a knock sounded at the front door. Applejack opened the door. Trixie? Hello, Applejack, said Trixie, looking to the farming pony. This still sounds strange, but may Trixie speak with your grandmother for a second? Applejack blinked. Oh, sir, don't see why not. Granny Smith's in the living room, she replied. Not sure why Trixie wanted to speak with her grandmother. Apple Bloom had been kind of quiet since they got into crisis all settled. so she didn't know what Trixie and the CMC had spoken about. Trixie nodded, heading into the living room. Big Magados gave her a stern glare. Trixie looked up at the huge stallion.
Trixie knows what she did to your little sister, Big Magados. She's sorry. It was the wrong thing for her to do. Now, she has something to say to Granny Smith. It's important, she said sincerely. May she see you go there, please?
Big Magatos blinked, gave a slow nod. He didn't see anything to make him think she was lying. Yup, he said, slowly moving out of the way, but keeping a close eye on her. Trixie slowly approached Granny Smith. Despite being an adult, she was a little nervous.
Granny Smith.
Granny Smith now.
Who's there?
She not asked, looking around before noticing Trixie.
Who are ya? I seen you here before. Trixie,
she said, realizing her nose first might confuse an old mare.
My name is Trixie. I have something I need to say to you. It's important, she said, looking serious. Well, what is it? You were the one who discovered the Zap Apples. It caused Ponyville to be founded, correct?
Granny Smith gave a surprised look, disbowed nostalgically.
Yeah, that was mine. It was a long time ago, back when I thought I was a young'un.
Trixie nodded.
Yes, it was. Granny Smith. The story what you did inspired me to do a magic act when I was a filly. The one that earned me my kitty mark,
Trixie explained.
And for that, I thank you.
Big Magatos and Applejack's jaws both dropped in surprise. Granny Smith gave a smile.
Trixie, is it? Well, I can't take care of that. Finding your kitty mark is something special. You probably can take credit for your kitty mark by yourself. But you're welcome. Now, I probably thank me for what I did any more than the other young'uns. You made this old mare happy.
Trixie gave a small smile.
I understand, Trixie said, but Granny Smith? She's asleep, isn't she?
Granny Smith had indeed fallen asleep in her chair and snored. Leah, but don't worry none. You didn't bore her or nothing. This house it is, Applejack said, as Big Magatos and Granny Smith upstairs. AJ turned to Trixie. You really mean all that? Granny Smith found in Ponyville's what earned you your curing mark? Trixie nodded.
Correct! Trixie just didn't know it until today. Trixie must admit, that was one of the brightest moments of her youth. It seemed only right to thank her who made it possible. Trixie knows your grandmother founding Ponyville is important, but...
You don't need to explain, sir, do you? She said, putting a hoof on Trixie with a warm smile. I understand how much it must have meant to earn your cutie mark and all. Trixie gave a small, almost mad smile.
Yes. Thank you, Applejack. It really is getting late. Trixie should be returning to the library, Applejack. Good night.
As Trixie walked home from Sweet Apple Acres, taking care to be seen as slow as she possibly could, she still didn't know the town's ponies would accept her, considering someone likely to blame her for the Ursa. She thought back to the day she earned her cutie mark. Trixie walked back home with her father and sister, keeping her father in the middle. Trixie had a bronze third-place trophy on her back, carrying it proudly. Top 3 was respectable, and after all, she earned her cutie mark in the process. Why wouldn't she be proud of herself? You did well, Trixie, said her father, looking at her corner of her eye. You discovered your special talents, but it needs work. 3rd place means 2 ponies are above you, and you must never settle for just that. Understood? Trixie nodded respectfully, but frowned slightly, not seeing any smile on her father's face. Trixie put the trophy in a cabinet in a relatively nice bedroom. She had a few things outside her necessities. Her sister had far more. Their father made them work, and everything they had outside necessities. Earning it wasn't easy. The cabinet was a very recent addition, given to her simply for seeking to enter the contest. It meant her courage and well-doing to fill it.
Well, well. Aren't you proud of yourself?
Said her sister's voice. Trixie turned to face her sister.
Why shouldn't I be? I got my cutie mark in 3rd place in the contest.
She exclaimed in excitement. Trixie, her sister gave a small, seemingly suspicious smile.
Yes, you did,
she said and frowned.
I only wish father was as proud.
Trixie's smile became a frown.
What do you mean?
Her sister gave a sigh, walking over.
I heard him talking with some of his friends. Eavesdropping spell always handy. He said he's ashamed to have a daughter in third. Third place is no place after all. You might as well have come in last. His words, not mine, of course.
Trixie looked like someone had stabbed her in the heart.
What? That's what he said.
Oh, Trixie, don't you remember?
Father will accept anything but perfection, and third is far from perfect.
Trixie looked like she was going to cry.
But he said, of course he did. He doesn't want you to feel bad by letting you know he's ashamed of you. Then why are you telling me?
She looked sympathetic, coming over to her sister.
Because I'm your big sister. I just want you to do the best. It's better, you know, so in the future you can do better and really impress father.
She said, giving her sister a hug, then turning her head to the door.
Oh, and I wouldn't bring it up to father. After all, he'll just cover up the lie again.
As her sister left, Trixie slowly stepped to a sitting position, breaking down in tears as she did. Trixie let her tears flow as she walked, shook it off and wiped them away.
I don't care. I earned my cutie mark that day. What father or anyone else says is irrelevant,
she said, wiping her tears away.
Besides, I'm a brand new mare. It's time I moved on with my life,
she said, looking back at Sweet Apple Lakers, then headed to Ponyville, giving a small smile. She then tried towards the library. Checker Monarch stood on a hill and looked over Ponyville with a sadistic smirk forming on her face.
Your friends may have forgiven you, Trixie. But what about the rest of Ponyville? Will they be as forgiving?
She stated, stating back.
I've always been good at turning your triumphs into failures, haven't I?
Young Checker stood in front of her father's living room, listening to an eavesdropping spell. And she earned her cutie mark on top of it. Outstanding, wouldn't you say? Asked her father's voice. Certainly, Saturnian, certainly. Checker hasn't heard hers yet, has she? Answered the stallion's voice. Not yet. I'm certain she will soon, after all. She's not going to let her sister outdo her. It's not her nature, said Saturnian in response. I'm so proud of Trixie, but you mustn't allow your child to become too proud. Pride can easily become hubris, and no pony wants that. Still, I'm sure she's destined for great things. Checker snarled in rage, turning around and walking away.
Oh, and I wouldn't bring it up to father. After all, he's just going to cover it up with a lie again.
Checker finished as she walked out the living room, hearing her sister begin to cry, giving a cruel smirk.
And no one upstages me and gets away with it. Trixie!
She whispered as a light flashed on her flank, and her cutie mark appeared. Checker smirked, looking back at her cutie mark, and then slowly headed towards town to begin her plan.